Awesome. Okay, well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Maddie Cano. I'm a worker justice organizer here at CCI. Yay. Welcome to the Fight for 15 strategy session. We're going to be digging in a little bit on what we've been doing with our campaign, why we joined the Fight for 15, why it's so important, and what you guys can do, why you are important to our movement. But first, I don't know about anyone else. I'm a numbers girl. Okay, numbers don't lie. You can misinterpret them, but they don't lie. So, I want to start with a couple of things I thought were interesting. In Iowa, right now, 25% of households are earning incomes that are below what it takes to make ends meet. And that ain't right. According to the Census Bureau, as of last year, there were just over 3 million people living in Iowa. That's a lot of people. Also, according to the Census Bureau, 400,000 Iowans are living below the poverty line. 400,000! That's a huge percentage. That's below the minimum wage. That's not even including the people that are living below $15 an hour. That's crazy. The minimum wage in Iowa is at $7.25. It is one of the lowest in the country. It's the same as the federal. They're no better, okay? And that's just about $15,000 annually if you're working full-time, if you don't have a company that screws you out of hours, which a lot of us don't. Do you think that that's enough to make ends meet? No. Is that enough to support a family? No.
Can't support a single person on that nonsense.
Exactly. One person can't even survive on that. It's ridiculous. The minimum wage has been a casual conversation for our legislators, both Democrats and Republicans, and that's not right. I'm tired of them going up there and proposing measly bills. Does anyone in here know what our state Democrats, our Senate Democrats proposed last year for minimum wage for a bill? $8.75.
Screw that.
$8.75. Are you kidding?
They went to that before they even negotiated. They said,
That's right. That's right.
How insane is that?
It's ridiculous. $8.75? Oh, thank you. No, that's ridiculous. Our good friends at the Iowa Policy Project, we love them, released their minimum wage study this year. And let me tell you, there were a lot of really, really interesting things I found in that policy. According to IPP, an individual person needs at least $13 in Iowa to make ends meet. $13. So when people say, we're not New York, we're not LA, we still need $15 an hour to survive. We still need it. Exactly. Exactly. Right. So it's more than that. That's just the basic. It really is more. We actually need more than 15. And for a single parent with 2 kids, they need at least $28 an hour. And we know that they're not making that. We know that. So do you think that the measly $8.75 bill that the Senate Democrats, who are supposed to be on our side, who are supposed to be progressive, do you think that that is going to help the 400,000 Iowans that are living in poverty?
Nope.
No, it's not. And that's why we're here. That's why we're here today. That's why CCI decided that we're going to take on this campaign, because we're so tired of the Republicans ignoring the conversation, and we're tired of Democrats allowing it to happen, and we're going to hold them accountable. So that's what we're deciding. The minimum wage is not a casual conversation. It's a serious conversation. Economic inequality has taken our nation by storm. It is a plague, and we have to do something to stop it. That's why we're here. That's why CCI joined the fight. We launched our campaign this past year. Some of you were there. It was great. April 15th, it was a National Day of Action. We joined in solidarity with Solidarity Actions around the country. There were thousands and thousands of workers and organizers and people like you in the streets protesting outside of local McDonald's, because McDonald's employs 750,000 people. They are the second largest employer next to Walmart in our country, and that is our national target. We joined in them, and we've been doing solidarity actions ever since. Maybe some of you have been to our Fast Food Fridays that we do. How many of you have been to a Fast Food Friday? Awesome. I hope next time we have this meeting, all of you raise your hands. We're not going to stand for another lackluster legislative session. We're going to fight like hell until we get $15 an hour, better working conditions, and a union for everyone in our state and everyone in our country. It's up to people like us to stand stand up to corporations because we know voluntary compliance doesn't work, right? And that's not just with clean water, that's with everything. Unless we poke and prod, they will not do it. So it's up to people like us to stand up and fight back and make sure that we hold them accountable, because corporate welfare is real. So I'm going to invite Bridget to come up and talk a little bit about some of our tactics, what we've been doing, and how you guys can get involved.
Alright, so when you all think about the National Fight for 15 movement, what do you think of?
Fast food workers.
Fast food workers.
Right, tip workers.
Tip workers. Strikes.
Taxpayers subsidizing rather than getting a decent wage.
Retail, the low-end retail workers.
Yep. So I heard fast food workers, tip workers, strikes. It's people, right? People that are affected are taking action like they never have before. And people have been striking all over the country. It's been huge. So here in Iowa, we're working on it, right? We haven't had strikes here yet. But right now, what we really are trying to do is engage people, engage workers, because they need to be the ones on the forefront of this movement here in Iowa too, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we have some samples at your table, all right? So here's our home cards. You guys see these? We'll give anybody these two.
One side is English, the other
Here's
is Spanish.
petitioning.
They're both, it's English, Spanish.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Oh, yeah.
But this,
So what we've been
This
doing, like
one
Maddie
is-
said,
Oh,
we
these are
started
stickers.
our Fight for 15
Oh,
campaign on April
Oh,
15th
I
with
see.
our a big action that we had, and since then it's been really about intentionally engaging with workers, because that's the most important thing, like I said. And so we've been doing this in multiple ways. First, we have these home cards. So whenever you go to a McDonald's, a Subway, anywhere, retail, we want to make this inclusive, that we hand out these to workers. Tell them a little bit about the campaign, ask if they've heard about it. What would $15 mean to you? So start engaging folks, having these conversations. People that we have a good conversation with, we follow up with them. We want to meet with them one-on-one and have a real conversation about how they can be impacted by raising the minimum wage, $15 an hour. These are just to get names of people right away, because sometimes we have conversations, but we don't get all the information. We need to get the information of the people that we're talking to. We also just kind of, we call it stalking. We sit in a McDonald's, because we have like your regulars. You kind of get to know your regulars. Well, we want to become the new regulars. So we just kind of hang out at the McDonald's. We want to know who's the boss, or who's the person that people
Nipping
just
their
kind of
Wi-Fi.
float to because they're natural leaders. We want to get to know those people. When is the general manager at the store? When is the supervisor, the person who supervises the general manager at the store? When does the shift change? We need to know all this information. It's really important to get all of this information so we know when's the best time to talk to workers. So we've been doing that. Like I said, we've been stalking. It's just been fun. Get my coffee.
Friendly following.
Yeah, yes. And so that's been really great. And then Maddie says we have our Fast Food Fridays. So the legislature, the Senate Democrats proposed $8.75 last year. What did they propose the year before? 10.10. They proposed 10.10 the year before that. So we're saying we're going backwards now.
Yeah.
So we knew that we really have to do a lot of work before the session starts so they do not propose $8.75 again. So we've been having Fast Food Fridays, where we go outside of a different McDonald's every second and fourth Friday of the month to engage the public, and also...
Can you come to Ames sometime?
Sure. Yeah. And it also shows workers who we have just palm carded, hey, we're doing stuff at your store later. You might not be joining us, but do you see the people that are outside? Because maybe they'll join us next time. So those have been a few things that we've been doing. We're gonna continue this until the legislative session starts or until it gets so freezing cold that we can't do it anymore. But I think the response has been great. Who's done the Fast Food Fridays again? So when you see the public, are they supportive? Do they like curse at you? Like what is the engagement? Honk honk. Yes. Honk honk and like we support the hell out of you. It's awesome. Is it awesome?
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's invigorating. People are pumped up about it. No, we used to get $15 an hour. That's crazy for Iowa. I haven't heard that lately. I haven't heard it. Nope. I think people know here in Iowa people are struggling. We need $15 an hour here. So that's been a little bit about what we've been doing. We're going to continue working on it. If you guys want some poem cards, come into our office or we'll send you some in the mail.
I chose
we
this
love
one
it. Anytime
because
you go to a fast food restaurant, tell them a little bit about the
I
campaign.
wanted to change
Tell them
the
to
topic
contact CCI.
for
We need to
my
have these
afternoon stream.
conversations. Yeah.
I'd like to, is there any way to kind of start a conversation too about doing some additional things regarding this? To kind of shake things up a little bit. I know I've been at some of these, what you said first, what we do, but I think a challenge for people who are working at McDonald's is if they participate, they get fired. That's a fear for people. And today I was at a workshop, nothing to do with this, and the person actually workshop talked about people, whatever it was, that they got to, because I'm afraid to do something, I'm going to get my mother to do it. Okay, so that got me this idea, is that if our campaign also included things like, we find somebody that works there, and they're on our side, but they're afraid, is that we could could we get, we commit ourselves to find 10 friends to go with us into the store and have more direct conversations with the people inside. We've been out on the sidewalks. Yeah. But something to do additional stuff that the workers has bought into it, but they to deal with this issue of how do we get really tougher by getting more people who have nothing to lose. I'm not going to get fired because I don't work there, but you know, that kind of stuff. I think we should see.
Are you talking about strategy?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah, so to add it into there, that would really put more stress on the owners. Right. I think we should try to think about adding stuff like that to it. That's my thought.
Well, also I was thinking that, if it gets to the point that people are going to actually strike, that we have some kind of striker support fund.
Yes.
And to have that strategized beforehand so that that's something that when you go and talk to people and trying to organize them to strike, that we have some kind of support network that's already kind of set up and say, this is going to be here for you.
Right.
Add legal support to that also, because they might need that.
Right. And that's a great idea. We've been talking about that with wanting workers to strike, is that we want all of you guys, all of our Fast Food Friday team, to be like the support team. That way we'll take people back to work when they strike with us. The next day we go back to work with them and we walk them into work. They're protected. We are together.
But I think also that, it may be that, if they choose to strike for longer than a day.
Right.
It's like, what do they need for the families? What do they need for food? What do they need, those kind of things. The physical supports.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I have a question. When you talk about striking, and the question relates to what was said here, are you talking about a one-day strike, which I've seen in a number of different other countries? I've never seen it here. Or the long-term strike that I remember my dad used to go through.
So, we're going to talk about a big strike day on November 10th.
Just do it now.
And that is,
And
and that is a one-day strike. And for what is it, protected concerted activity, that's
Yeah.
what it's called. Where if there is one other person striking with you, so two people striking at a store or at a franchise, it can be the same thing, it's protected concerted activity, meaning you can go on strike and you should have no fear of retaliation. So that's what we're
I
talking
think
about.
it's, we wanna start small. You're right, you haven't been seeing strikes here. Maybe in bigger cities, yes. But let's start small and then move into bigger stuff.
This is worker strikes, or are we?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Worker
let's,
strikes.
can we just real quick, just explain, or just like kind of how we see November 10th, how it could be, and then I like all more of these ideas, and you all have better handwriting than I do anyway.
So November 10th is the next big day of action for the Fight for 15, for the Fight for 15 movement. So there are people going to be striking across the country, just like on April 15th. And so we're gonna try, like, our goal is to have people striking here in Iowa. That's our goal. So we're gonna be working like hell to make sure that happens. If it doesn't, we're still gonna be out in support for workers across the country that are striking. So we wanna think of like, how can we make November 10th a big day of action?
A similar
and have
action like
tons of people
when
participating with
the
us.
Walmart strikes.
Well, one thing I was thinking about, I mean, when you see all these things going on in other cities, in Chicago, New York, whatever you like, it's people from inside coming out. I'm wondering if we've thought about getting members to get jobs at McDonald's and organize from the inside. Yeah, go in and solve and organize unions.
Who? Like,
Sure.
it'd be like infiltrating the beast, you know?
You're gonna have to train people. I don't know the first thing about organizing a union. But I think if you wanna get people to come out, you have to go in there first, and you can't do it as an outside group, right? They're not gonna, we've been doing this,
There's no
they're not really
relationship.
coming out yet. Not that they won't. It's gonna be a lot more effective if you put someone in there.
You folks at this table.
Great idea.
So I was just gonna ask a question, and maybe there's an idea behind thinking about these cards and the use of these cards to gather names of workers on the inside and sort of organize them from the outside, essentially. So has that worked? I mean, are you getting lots of calls from workers by distributing these cards?
So, we've had to, when we first started, we were home carding folks and we asked them, go to our website. We want to get your name. You have to go to our website and sign the petition to do that. So people were not signing the petition. So that's why we added links to it, to get people's names right off the bat. So if for some reason though, they're really quick at the drive-through or whatever and they can't talk to us, we'll at least leave that. Because we at least want to leave them some information, but the goal is to always get their name and a way to contact them. It's both. Yeah.
I drive a truck all over the country.
Yeah.
So you're gonna need more cards then. You're gonna need more cards then.
Anyways, 11 out of 14 people that work at these fast food restaurants, they are not even registered to vote. Yeah. I've used two approaches. One is, I'm a rich snob, and I tell them they can't handle the extra money for a minimum wage increase anyway, and they don't vote. The rich people vote. How do you think that's working for them? I've used the piss them off angle to sympathetic, you're not making enough money. But on top of this strategy that you're talking here, these people don't have money. They're worried about losing their job. I would suggest that everybody gets sick on the November 10th. Because if everybody is sick, they can't come to work because that's a health risk. Use the system that they have. I'm sick. I don't want to pass diseases on to other people. The manager's not going to refute that. The other thing is, I don't hit fast food places that much unless I'm really in a bind. But those of you that do, you know the system. You walk in, what do you want? Okay, I want a cheeseburger, fries, and a milkshake. Okay, this much, sir. Okay, you pay it, and then you stand over there and you wait, because fast food isn't fast, is it?
Nope.
Change the game up. They can't do a damn thing to you about it. I've done this 3 times, and I ain't been to jail for it. I have upset people. I order my food. There's 4 or 5 people behind me. I'll pay for it when I get it. And it works because all of a sudden, I get my food before those 4 or 5 people standing in line get their food. Which I look at them, shrug my shoulders and say, sorry, that's their fault for following with the system. Don't just disrupt them on the 10th of November, but.
Right, but
get them
on
everything.
after that. So, Neil, what do you got?
So, 2 ideas. One, are we reaching out to any of the like service-oriented organizations that work with a lot of these people? So whether they're like shelters or places that are doing like financial literacy trainings, or there's a lot of service organizations that might not necessarily speak out as an organization, but might be willing to let their clients know about this.
You know, you're probably right. I work a lot with homeless kids, and I work with some of those organizations. And nobody's been in there talking to those kids about that.
Or those that work with immigrants.
And then the other idea, I just think back to like the CCI strategies, like at the banks where you like bring in a whole bunch of pennies and like drop them on the floor. Like, are there any ways to like have somebody just kind of like stop and not move in the middle of a drive-through, and then like hand out cards to cars behind them?
Paying with pennies too.
Okay, paying with pennies. Yeah, just trying to find ways.
99 cents.
That way.
And just to clarify, are you just focusing on McDonald's, or is this on the scan? There's a lot of fast food places. It seems like it's just
Only
So we are focused on fast food, and the reason is because we've been talking with national allies on this, and they're focused on McDonald's because they're saying McDonald's is kind of like the holy grail, and once we win with McDonald's, the other fast food restaurants have to go in line with McDonald's.
Okay, so it is McDonald's.
We have targeted every single fast food restaurant in Des Moines in the area, but our focus is on McDonald's for that. Let's keep going with November 10th though, because I want to talk about how can we make November 10th really successful? How can we bring a lot of people out for it? What's going to be a draw? Yeah, Jamie.
So none of us are gonna be striking, right, unless we go get those jobs. I mean, if we have people who are gonna strike, they're really the ones whose skin is in the game, right?
Yes.
I mean, I feel like they should really be involved in what that planning is, or what we would do, you know, like, we can come up with our best ideas, but.
Okay, but so regardless of the strike, then what can we still do on November 10th to make a real big display? One thing I'd like to put up there, Bob brought it up, and then I heard the table up there, can we do something like this in Ames? Like, an idea is that on November 10th, let's at least have something going on in Des Moines, in Ames, and Waterloo all at the same time.
Yeah, we do. Tim?
I guess one question I have in my mind is how successful do you think you will be in getting employees to strike, actually remove, I mean, you've had trial runs, you have a pretty good idea of how much success you'll have with that, or is this a crapshoot?
It's not a crapshoot, but we're working on it.
In hundreds of cities, we need to bring it to Iowa. So we will do it, it's just a matter of when.
Well, it's not so much that you will do it, I'm sure you will do it, I don't know what results you're likely to get.
Tim, it will happen, it will happen.
The other question is, have you talked about the consumers? The people that queue up in the drive-through line, and how you can hand something out to them, because it's that public that you really want to persuade.
Yep, we do that, yep.
Pass, the cards to them.
Waterloo, Ames, Des Moines.
And are we thinking of just hitting one store in Waterloo, one store in Ames, one store in Des Moines? Or are we looking at multiple locations of McDonald's in each one of these cities?
What do you pull at one is probably more powerful.
Yeah.
But doesn't it also maybe depend on where we have people striking, if we actually have people that are striking? To focus on the outlets where those people were.
Yeah, yeah. And I think we have some ideas of where it could be at, because the workers that we talk to, there's certain franchise owners that are worse than others. And so there are more horrible stories at one franchise in particular. So I would guess that could be something, a target.
for the locations, I would imagine that maybe you guys have already thought of this, but locations that, already they're gonna choose locations as a franchise owner that have a lot of heavy traffic. Are there locations that visually maybe are more appealing in that there's the McDonald's that's really close to the state capitol?
Right.
So
We love
as
that
we
one.
do pictures of that, we've got the capitol in the background. Or, are we looking at larger,
Traffic? Where's the most people gonna see you?
Right, so, that one happens to be on East 14th, so you've got a lot of people driving by already.
Time of the day, are there a lot of people in the drive?
So you guys probably already thought about that, right?
We've
okay.
been doing that for our Fast Food Fridays, but this is especially an important time to think about that, right? Because it's gonna be bigger. than
Right,
our
as
Fast
opposed
Food
to
Fridays.
a
Yeah,
McDonald's
right.
instead of hospital.
Yeah, exactly. So unfortunately, we're gonna do a time check. Unfortunately, we all have to be back in that room in about 6 minutes. So I'm actually gonna wrap it up for us here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Emily Schott. I'm a worker justice organizer here with CCI as well. Yeah, so I handed out, handed out these little hack sheets for folks. So we've talked to you a little bit, Bridget outlined what we've been doing so far, but we need more people involved in this. That's the truth. That's CCI, that's our sweet spot, right? We need more people to create more power, to create big change. So we've got a slip here that's for everyone to fill out individually, and you'll leave them with us here on the table. We got your name and email, and then we want to know how you're gonna, what are you gonna do? You're clearly invested in the fight for 15. Everyone here knows folks deserve a living wage, and we're gonna fight for it. We're starting with November 10th. That's the next, the thing to keep in our vision for the next big deal. So we want to know how you're gonna get involved. Starting with who is gonna come to the event on November 10th. Raise your hand. Yeah? All right. That's 11 seats. Perfect. That's a great start. That's awesome.
What day of the
Yeah.
week is it?
Tuesday. Well, if we're not, there will be more details. So this is just, who,
I'd say about 10 a.m.
Yeah, like middle of the day time typically. We try to go in the middle of the day because it's busy. There's more staff at the restaurant, so we can talk to more folks, and then also there's more visibility, more traffic, things like that. So it'll probably be something in the middle of the day. We
After
also
this,
have
I'm
the
gonna
idea,
go ahead and
the third one
take my
down, we've talked about
name
doing
down.
in Ames and Waterloo. So another way you can get involved is lifting up the issue in your town, whether that's a solidarity action, whether that's an LTE that you submit to the paper. There's a bunch of different ways to go about doing that. So that's the other idea that was actually mentioned.
So I can
you could
archive this
check
part.
here as well. We're also going to need folks, every event has the background, so when the event happens, but there's been a bunch of work that's gone into it, including making calls. That's another way that you could get involved, as well as liking the Fight for 15 Facebook page. We do a lot, we have about 500 likes or so, a little more, 600. We do a lot of communication with folks, especially low-wage workers. That's a really good forum to talk to folks more about it, so you can like that page. And then also talking to friends and family that work in fast food. So if you know people, you're related to folks that work, and not just even in fast food, in low-wage jobs, whether it's retail or whatever, we want to know them. We want you to connect us. We want to sit down and chat with them, learn more about, about their job and how a $15 minimum wage would affect them. So, everyone, if you could all fill this out there should be pens on the table as well, before you head out. And then we will be following up with you, so there will be some accountability. I have to put your email down, so we'll shoot out an email saying, you said that you'd do this, are you still in? Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, this isn't November 10th, but I was just thinking, was it Solon? Was that the town that just was the first town? Have we thought at all about doing some Johnson County stuff, targeting the city council?
So, targeting what?
Or was it the city council or something?
Here in Polk County?
No, the Solon people who were I think they were the only town in the entire country to lower the minimum wage.
Oh my God. So I don't know if you've heard, Johnson County passed the $10 minimum wage. Missy Rubik with the Center for Worker Justice up there did a great job making that happen. And then so Solon as a town passed a separate ordinance to lower the minimum wage back down to what it was before. So super great, awesome. No, but the thing is we've actually been coordinating with the Center for Worker Justice. So I imagine that this would be something like, we talked to Missy November 10th, do you want to, that there could be a solidarity action involved in Iowa City, but that's a great idea. So we definitely have our finger on the pulse about that, and depending how things shake out in Johnson County, that could change the fight here in Des Moines as well. We could go for a full county. We're keeping a lot of options. Yeah.
An update on that too, though, our city council has not approved it yet either. The city attorney is saying it could be challenged and lost. So the fight is not done until.
Right.
Oh, no.
Now, the issue I have, not only in Johnson County, but everywhere, is, so we're going forward, taking a step saying, you know, the Board of Supervisors saying, yeah, we wanna raise the wage, but then, oh, the state says you can't do it, the city says you can't do it, everybody's pointing fingers saying you can't do it. We need to fight and bring up community rights and just say, you know what, this is our community and we are gonna do it.
That's right.
And it's gonna take a lot more fighting, but I mean, this is just the beginning of the fight.
That's right.
That's so true. We've got one more thing, we're gonna do, someone from us is gonna do a 3-minute report back, in the other room about what we talked about. We're gonna take this and we're just gonna report out to the whole group. So we just need one person to take 3 minutes and talk about basically everything that's up here. So who wants to volunteer to do that? Yeah. I'm gonna call on someone.
I nominate Pat Bowen.
Perfect. Pat Bowen, are you willing to do it, Pat? Is that okay?
Thanks, Pat.
She got drafted.
Or is anyone else really dying to do it?
All right, thank you so much. Okay, then we're gonna
Thanks, Pat.
I'm gonna go ahead and take this down, and so thanks for watching. And I don't know if I'll go up again, but if I decide